Is Kash Patel crashing out? After the latest report, it seems like a fair question. We've heard about his use of the FBI to serve as a personal chauffeur for his girlfriend, his luxurious trips on our dime, and recently allegations of alcohol use impairing his work. But now, intense paranoia and distrust of those around him in the Bureau. And we have more, but Jank, I want to bring you in here. What are your 2 cents here? What do you make of the drama surrounding Kash Patel?
Yeah, so look, on the one hand, it's funny because he's such an obvious clown and he's like Fredo, but he's loyal to the boss, okay? So they drag him along and have him do their dirty work. But on the other hand, Jordan, it's deeply depressing because they're targeting their enemies, destroying the concept of America, and putting buffoons like this in charge of their corruption. So tell us about it.
Well, here's what you need to know. FBI Director Kash Patel ordered the polygraphing more than 24 former and current members of his security detail, as well as other staff, and has been described as being in panic mode to save his job and find leakers among his team, according to 2 people briefed on the development. MS Now also reports that Patel walled himself off from some senior bureau leaders this week after questions were raised about his leadership. The director has also avoided meeting this week with some key operational leaders of the Bureau, the people said, raising concerns inside the FBI about Patel's ability to stay abreast of pressing threats and investigations in order to make the best decisions. This internal investigation was sparked by the Atlantic piece we've covered on this show, and you've probably heard about, that included anonymous reports about Kash Patel's alleged drinking and how it affects his ability to do his job. He was deeply upset about that, denied it, and even said he was going to sue the Atlantic. Ben Williamson, FBI spokesman, denied reports of polygraph tests and added, "The only people in panic are the panicans in the media pushing out false stories because they spend zero time covering the record-breaking success and reduction in crime at this FBI. A trademark of Patel's time as FBI director has been the abrupt firing of staff, including agents with specific and relevant areas of expertise. Now this probe has staff worried that their jobs could be next." Sources told MS Now that agents were deeply concerned about opening such a probe in which they were expected to examine the contacts of a journalist who engaged in news gathering and, in their view, lacked reasonable justification. Those sources said the agents who were directed feared Patel would fire them if they did not agree. Jank, what do you make of this?
Well, of course he's gonna fire them for political reasons. And of course they're prosecuting people based on political reasons. Going after James Comey because he found a collection of seashells. Okay, then they say, all right, it says 86-47, 86 you say claim is a death threat. Jack Posobiec, well-known right-wing pundit, said the same exact thing about Biden. Literally the same exact thing, but he didn't find any seashells, he just wrote it on a tweet, so it was way more intentional. And they're like, yeah, it is the same thing, we don't care. We're not gonna prosecute him, we're only gonna prosecute Democrats. And specific Democrats, and not even just Democrats, Comey's not even a Democrat. Democrats and opponents of Donald Trump. And we've got this cross-eyed mutant, largely half works for Trump, half works for Israel, that's going to do all of these. Well, this is like, it's idiocracy on steroids, Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, this is somebody who clearly is in over his head, who only has his job because he kissed up to Donald Trump, who spent most of his time embroiled in one scandal or another. He's misused government funds. He's used the government jets to go visit his girlfriend in Nashville. And every single time these things get reported out, his statements, his justifications, his defenses get more ridiculous and over the top. I mean, we talked about it with the girlfriend vacation and FBI, or sorry, the chauffeur story came out. The statement was about how she's a country music sensation and her music is topping the charts or something like that. And we looked into it. She's got a couple thousand listeners on Spotify, and they have since the right, in a coordinated effort, have tried to prop her up and build up her industry. And to me, it's like everything about all of these people feels phony. It's like the greenery in Vegas. It's all just fake. They're astroturfing people's careers. I saw a story today. Sean McDuffie, the transportation secretary, has been doing a reality show as in his position over the last several months. Like, they're all ripping us off in one way or another. They're all profiting. They're all just, scheming and scamming their way through this second Trump term. And there are no guardrails. The Democrats, through being in a minority, and also just doesn't seem like leadership has a will to fight on some of these things. It just happens. And we continue to descend into the most embarrassing state this country has been in relatively recent history.
Look, the Democrats, it's not like they don't serve the powerful. They do it in a more sophisticated way. This is super ham-handed, right? These guys are like, that's it. We're gonna arrest our political opponents. I mean, this is not America. So they're disqualifying Republicans. So if you vote for Republicans, you get clowns like this who go, yeah, I'm going to abuse the FBI in every way. I'm going to go drinking with the hockey players. I'm going to demand FBI jackets and chauffeurs and private trips for me and my girlfriend. We get to be corrupt and we get to try to destroy anyone who tells anyone about it. Or you're going to tell about our corruption. We're going to destroy your life or your career. So with these thugs, what are you going to do? Vote Republican? I mean, look, if you find different sets of Republicans that aren't just deeply corrupt like Tom Massey, that's a different question. But no, Trump and his circle are the worst of the worst. They don't care about the voters at all. They think that if they won, that means they get to rob the American taxpayers for everything we've got. And the final funny part of this is, speaking of the leaks that they're so obsessed about, Susie Wiles, the chief of staff today, wrote an email to all the White House staffers demanding that they not leak. Well, how do I know about that? That got leaked. Yeah, it's a clown show. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.